Kuzuzankula and welcome to today's episode of Face to Face. This is 𝐃𝐨𝐫𝐢𝐬 and it is honored to be joined by a special guest Dorji, who has represented Bhutan at the 3rd Kanchenjunga Tourism Conclave, where Bhutan participated for the first time. He was one of the 10 members who have participated. He played an important part in sharing culture, tourism and hospitality with other countries. Today we will talk about the experiences, what was learned and how it will benefit Bhutan's tourism in the future. To begin with, I would like to welcome Sir, first of all, and I would like to know how was your overall experience while you participated for the 3rd Kanchenjunga Tourism Conclave?
Oh, Les, thank you very much for having us. The Hotel and Restaurant Association of Bhutan, this is the first time coordinated under the leadership of chairman and other 9 members, including me. We were 10 of them, 10 of us, and this is the first time representing in the northeastern state. And I think this is, in a way, very historic also. As you know, the tourism industry at the moment, including all the hoteliers, you might have read, all the newspapers have been reporting the issue at the moment. We are going through a rough time at the moment. So this is one way to position ourselves and market to the northeastern state and the people. Because there has been, if you look back at the history, the people, we have this connection. And even for these the travelers or the tourists, the circuit, they always make a point to visit Nepal, Bhutan, and India. So it's like a tri-junction, the circuit, and it has a rippling effect. But somehow, because of after the pandemic, things have slowed down. Things have not picked up as it used to do before, and this is the time where we met our presence for the first time, and we tried our best to market and welcome and share and network. And I think this is very important, to network and share the information, and we need to work together and make Bhutan as the destination for tourists.
So, sir, in addition to that, what was the overall message that you got from the conclave?
Oh, Les, thank you very much. Well, the conclave was for 2 days. Yes. And during our the first opening was graced by the Honorable Minister of Department of Tourism and Aviation from the Sikkim government. And then there were a lot of other visitors as well as the exhibitors from the different countries, like from Nepal, northeastern, all the tour operators in the northeastern region, as well as from Bangladesh and Bhutan. And there, I think it was kind of a mixed, to be very honest. Somehow, the tour operators were not very happy with the current transformation in terms of our tourism, the changes that has occurred. And then the first thing, the remark they get is why Bhutan has become so expensive. And then and they have been speaking, some of the issues we have been facing, and mainly it was the STF. And then from there, they are also touched on this suddenly after the STF, the monument fees, and becomes too expensive. And some of the even operators who do all this, the circuit, they said this has become too expensive, and they have other options within the region, and they have been diverting. So in that case, we tried our best to convince them, saying that the overall policy, the vision is excellent, high-end, low impact or low volume, and now part of the regenerative. And then also the conclave mainly focus on the communities. So from there, we explained to them that this is the overall policy in the country, and then for the sustainability, it's good for the country, good for the environment, and good for the people, community. This is the reason why our government imposes things. But the only challenge is after the pandemic, when we had a sudden, the changes, and then the frequent changes. This is another the lesson or the message they conveyed to us, saying that you keep changing the policies and certain rules every couple of months and or a year or something like that. Frequent changes in a way, and that did not go well with them. So we said, like, we tried our best to convince them. So this was a lesson. I think we need to have a stable and a good policy. And right after the pandemic, coming up with all these changes, I think it's not welcome by the tour operators and including the tourists themselves. And I think the way forward, we hope our government will be gracious enough to have an everlasting the policy and no frequent changes. And that becomes, they were even giving a very funny example, which I am not going to quote. But I think it's once you have a stable, good policy. And then the one participant was even giving an example. Like your political leadership is so stable, you have so much respect. You should have, the policy should be in line with that. But somehow your, the tourism policy is not stable. Why is that? He was challenging me. And I was jokingly, I said that this is the reality of politics. Welcome to the politics of the democracy. This is what it happens. But joke aside, I said, now things are stabilizing. Bhutan is the destination, and you must come. And we have to work together and promote.
So, sir, just now, like, listening to sir, like, what I noticed is, like, in our country, there are lots of issues going on, and like this is the third time, if I'm not wrong, tourism conclave. So, like, Bhutan is participating for the first time, but the event is going for the three times now. So, is there like any reason for participating for the first time this time only?
Well, I don't know the reasons why Bhutan did not. I am not here to comment on the government policies and government participation. Although from the economic stimulus fund, I heard that 700 million was given to the Department of Tourism, and that I think they are focusing on the other international markets or in other aspects. I'm not here to comment on that. But the third Kanchenjunga Tourism Conclave was all spearheaded under the leadership of Hotel and Restaurant Association of Bhutan. And there was no government representative at all. It was all private sector. And somehow maybe, I don't know whether the government, because the northeastern region, the government is not interested or people are not interested, but there's a huge potential. And then I think there's a takeaway. I was fascinated to compare the stats, the figures. Although the Sikkim government is far, in terms of size, 7,000 plus square kilometer, we are 38 plus thousand square. But the annual tourist arrival is 1.2 million. 1.2 million, in Bhutan. And the population is at par. They are also at 700,000. We are also at 7,000. They have more hotels. The people are always blaming we have too many hotels. The people are constructing too many hotels. Because tourism is the backbone. It's the easiest. Now, in 21st century, people like to travel, like to experience. For wellness, Bhutan is the best destination for wellness, trekking, honeymoon, and now regenerative community. This is what we have been pitching to all the tour operators and the hotels and other associations in the recent gathering in Sikkim. And I think it's time to focus. Sometimes, I think it's good to have international, but somehow because of the policy, I think now the international, if you look at the last week, the government published the figure, 80% our regional guests. The internationals are not going to come. Very few will come because people get shocked. For example, We had an inquiry last month. There were 6 family members who wanted to come from Thailand to Bhutan, and so the 𝐁𝐡𝐻, the fare air, it's 960 plus for economy return flight. So it's almost 1,000, 6,000 for the airplane. Oh, they get shocked.
Yeah.
Then SDF 100, then monument fees. Then we have to add our margin, all that, and it becomes an issue. But somehow they don't have. I don't. They always feel one guest even told us that we don't have a minting machine to mint money or dollars to come like that. When there are options in the region, in different parts of the country, I think there are choices. But I think the overall policy, the vision is great. It's great because in terms of carrying capacity, we don't want a floodgate. We don't want over tourism. In terms of sustainability, it's important. But especially after the COVID, I think things have gone. It's little. I think the bumpy road ahead, and probably a temporary measure of giving a special relief. And there are a lot of examples, and we don't need consultants or think tankers to come up and recommend something. I think this is something can be implemented. There are many options, many good initiatives. I think that's needed at the moment, at this juncture. Otherwise, I think our recovery road is quite challenging. Youths are, as we speak, youths are still leaving the country. And there are a lot of noises, all the hotel and restaurant association, tour operators. But God knows, will our decision makers listen? I always I know it's beyond our control. I always say, what to do? That kind of. But everybody is saying what to do. Ke garni. The Tulu Manchi and Sanu Manchi are struggling. All the hotels are struggling. Tour operators are blaming. But now, I think we should have a healthy debate and a request to the government to pay little attention. And I think coming back to your question, I think it's important that importance should be given even within the region, that area, because there's a huge market. And then that example of the Sikkim, I thought, wow, this is it. They have thousands of hotels, about 6,800 hotels or something, all are thriving. The vehicle, the taxi drivers are thriving, the handicraft sellers are thriving. People spend money, people go there. And we did, even our 3 nights stay at the 𝐁𝐜𝐞, is very impressed by the number of arrivals. And they say this is off-season for them. It's because it's been raining. There have been a lot of landslide and all that. But in spite of all these challenges, people still come and travel, spend money. So why not capitalize Bhutan? Now the government is even trying, we are all trying to promote, throughout the year, 365 days in a year. But we have miles to go.
When sir cite example of the Sikkim and when sir compared Bhutan and Sikkim, so is there any way forward, or is there anything that Bhutan can do to become like a Sikkim?
Yes. Well, we cannot compare exactly, to be very honest, because their policy versus our Bhutan's vision is totally different. Although our offerings and their offerings are very similar, and actually they are far better off. They have bungee jumping to all these kinds. We have beautiful tracks. I mean, there's no point in comparing all this. They are far better off in terms of offerings to the tourists, because we are situated very similar the geographical conditions. But because of their policy, they are thriving. And our policy, the long-term vision is wonderful. High-end, low impact, low volume. We have to be very mindful. We can't implement whatever they have. So the overall policy, our SDF, is wonderful. But after the pandemic, people are still struggling. All the businesses are struggling. And I think for next 3 to 5 years, 3 years, not even 5 years, if the government could give certain relief, I think this is the best way to pick up. And once things stabilize, then we can have it, implement the current policies. But the challenge is everybody is even citing the example. Let me give you an example. Right after the opening, they had all these officials. The secretary of their prominent ministry, the ministry, just said, we met, hello, madam, and all nice. And she said, oh, I'm afraid of you, STF. And I didn't know what to, right away. So I said, we'll be very honored to have you. Yes, is the issue. Then we tried to explain everything, but then they again coming back to the same policy, the STF, the airfare, because they even don't have to drive by road. The Bagdora airport, the airfare is the biggest challenge. The STF airfare coupled by this monument fees, and it becomes expensive. And then there are alternative other options. So there are a lot of these foreigner tourists visiting there, and they can easily come to Asla. And I think the way forward should be, we don't need a think tank or expert. I think there's the simple, when things don't work, the policies are meant to be changed. It's not written on rock, Nula. I think the overall, the ecosystem, the tourism has a rippling effect. From tour operators to hoteliers to farmers to drivers to the families and all that. And this is very easy. And that's the backbone of our economy after hydropower. But hydropower, the debt, I think is going to go on. Not even our kids' time, the government might be able to pay the debt. We owe billions and billions. Look what happened to Puna Changchu. And I'm not here to comment on that. But I think tourism is very easy. It's the industry is very, I think we have to be very adaptive. Now any policies, any rules and regulations, certain things, and it's already been implemented for 2-3 years now, and when things are not working, I think it's time, the request. People are pleading the government for a proactive, sooner than later, the changes. But we have a government who promised so many things, and to change and everything, but in reality, everybody is silent. And this is a little sad. It's a little sad, because when things are not going well, or because the majority, all these people, the rippling effect, the stakeholders, concern, wishes, I think are there. The people are praying, hoping for swift changes, but things are, I think, taking a little bit long. So I think from that perspective, in spite of all this, Bhutan is very beautiful. Our policy is great. We hope and pray that the changes will have a positive impact for all the stakeholders and for the country, for the sustainability of tourism, for the sustainability and the livelihood of all the stakeholders involved.
I think there are lots of things we need to discuss about this one. Still then, with time, I would like to ask the last question. So what would be your recommendation to the agencies who are responsible for the change?
I think I'm a Sanumanchi. I call it Sanumanchi, right? I'm not here. I'm not an expert. I'm a farmer. I'm a hotelier farmer, but our submission to the government, to the leaders who are involved in this so-called this industry, to give a deep thought and take a meaningful, everlasting, sustainable decision we are not urging or requesting for any major changes, but I think to relook maybe for next 3 years, special waiver, special packages to give a special consideration for STF and monument fees, the 𝐁𝐿, being a SOE. This is big bottleneck, and everybody's been. We met during this recent trip, have been saying this that now it's become too expensive, because we have a saying, people are very calculative. When it comes to Bhutan, they do the calculations, math. So much in Bhutanese we have a saying, "Chong machap, sichap." When you even, because on holiday they will not close their eyes. Everybody is going through a rough time with a lot of difficulties in the world at the moment from economic point of view, and we are lucky in Bhutan. We are in very safe. We have a stable government. We have a visionary monarch leadership, which we highly respect and have a faith. So we are very peaceful from that aspect. But in terms of doing the ease of doing business, certain things, especially in the industry, people are, I think, have raised a lot of concerns and submissions. And I think in terms of the way forward, this is something to relook at. It's not a hard and fast rule that you cannot change. I think there is a way to come up with very innovative approaches. I think the leadership is very important at the moment, prompt action. Otherwise, as a concerned Bhutanese bona fide citizen who has so much respect and loyalty for our 𝐶𝐻 𝐶𝐻𝐼𝐢, my submission is, before it's too late, I think certain immediate actions it's needed at the moment. Otherwise, on daily basis, everybody is posting. You might have seen in Paro, youths are going, leaving. We have a lot of challenges in the farming industry. The people from rural to urban, migrating from rural to urban, and migrating, going out of the country. And those people who are here, I think if the environment is created, the enabling environment, and the ease of doing business. So it's not a major request to the government. These are something from the heart with love. It's for our own people. If it benefits all the ecosystem, all the stakeholders in the country should be benefited, and by doing that, all the people, through the taxes, through the that we are the land of gross national happiness. I think people's welfare. People at the moment, some of our hoteliers, other members are even joking, say, we are able to get a heart attack. I think it's not wise to get a heart attack. We have a beautiful country. We have beautiful things here. People should enjoy, live peacefully, while we are alive. And this is our submission.
Thank you so much for sharing your view, sir. There might be lots of important questions left out also, so with shortage of time we have to conclude here. I hope these issues will be resolved as soon as possible. And to watch this type of content, please follow our social media page.